We're at the venue, guys, for the Youth Speaks event, and I'm going to be vlogging the entire event for them. What have you got to do?
Read these questions out.
I think we all
agree. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It felt quite question.
Well, I think the mask inhibited everyone in the communication. You couldn't engage with someone on eye contact. You couldn't hear very well. You felt hot. I felt very uncomfortable, like really conscious of myself, rather than I was too busy dealing with my own feelings and wearing a mask than actually listening to the person opposite me. So I found it really awkward. But then other people might have found differently. That's fine too.
What did other people think?
I thought pretty much exactly the same, that it was almost harder to focus on what was being said, not only not getting those facial cues, but even the message itself. The words seemed to have less meaning with the mask on. But when you took it off, it was like people were actually communicating information to you.
Yeah, you were open to listening and hearing and seeing and engaging.
Did anyone find some of the questions easier with the mask on? Okay.
Were you expecting a different response?
Well, just going around the groups, I have heard some different comments that, for example, the question about, what do you do when you're sad? One person was saying that's actually much harder to answer with the mask off. And, that may be because, it's harder to talk about a problem that you have. And that's particularly why we did this social experiment, is because often young people and adults as well, when they talk about mental health problems, dealing day to day is like having to put a mask on to go outside your house to meet with other people. So you're not showing the real you to other people. So how do you communicate then? And you can imagine from your own experiences of wearing the mask, then it's about how do other people connect with that young person then and give them the support that they need. So this is just one example of a social experiment. That's why we want to, we've developed Youth Speak, and our members are passionate about running research to improve youth mental health. So thinking about what are the issues, and you can see this is one that's come up from our group of members themselves. It's something that perhaps us adult researchers would not have thought of, but this is, driven from them themselves. So we think that, research is important. It's important to be able to find out not only what are the problems and how do young people experience those mental health problems, but what do they also find helpful? What are the things that make a difference for them? And how might we then put that into services where people are coming into mental health services? How can we better design those to be more engaging for young people and more effective? So I think, Laura, you're going to be...
Yeah. So I'm just going to show
It's just if you're on the street and we'll have various volunteers out, and then you ask somebody on the street, what do you think of this person? And then they'll give their opinion. And then you'd say, what if I told you they heard voices? Or what if I told you they have anxiety? Or what if I told you they self-harmed, and see if their opinion would change about them? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anybody else like to volunteer?
Lewis is desperate to talk.
Over in this group.
Right, well, the social experiment we designed wanted to gauge the public's reaction about someone being upset, someone who had manifestations of self-harm, say scars on their arms, which were visibly clear to the public, whereas someone else who didn't have these scars. We'd want to gauge the public's reaction, see if they'd rather go up to and see if these people who were clearly upset wanted help, and see if there's some sort of stigma or fear around someone that has self-harmed.
Fantastic. Another fantastic example of social experiment.
Be very off the cuff.
Okay.
So why are you here in the first place?
Well, my boss asked me to be here because he couldn't be here today, but I was just interested to see what the event was all about, and especially with the focus of young people, because I'm all about Dance Mothers Movement, and I was about inspiring young people in dance and allowing them to express themselves through dance and the benefits that dance can bring to them. So I was interested to see where I might fit in with what this event is.
So as it's going so far with the experiments and things, are you picking a lot up which you can take back to your field?
It's interesting. My eyes are starting to be opened at the moment, especially in terms of how judges maybe through their differences and things like that. And the social experiment thing is really quite interesting, and also interesting maybe from an artistic angle as well, and how that could be applied or represented through dances. So we use dance a lot, not only to entertain, but also to raise awareness about issues and different things in history and people's lives, and sometimes that's quite good to use an art form to not only let a person express what they're feeling, but also to represent on stage to other people certain issue.
That's two good questions. Keep going.
Sure. So I work at Clinical Research and that's for the NIHR. And what the NIHR is the research is so natural. So when it comes to all the treatments it's with the NHS, all the drugs, to make sure that we're getting the So what we do is look at clinical trials and how we can make things better. So my job within that is to encourage people in our local communities, patient groups, to get involved in research. So that might be taking part in a trial, it might be a bit like what Youth Speak do. So Youth Speak are really important because they get in at the ground level of research. So they help shape what research is done and why. So essentially, they're the experts. Because nobody knows about young people's mental health issues better than young people's mental health issues. So we try and work with these groups to encourage them to get involved because, of course, they make sure that we're researching the right things.
Sure.
Put the money in the right places.
Yeah, we put the money in my pocket.
In relation to this project, do you see it being more far reach than just the people here? Do you anticipate it to kind of...
Of course. Well, everything that Youth Speak do is they represent a patient group and a patient population. So everything that, all the advice they can give us and the guidance they give us becomes embedded in the research that we carry out, and that research is then shared across the NHS.
Sure.
So yes, so this is, you're looking at really quite an exceptional group who can influence all our policy, all our service nationally.
Could have got like a selection like these, didn't they? Got like
On a different note, regarding the NHS side of things, would you say that sort of GPs' approaches to people with mental health is sufficient at the moment, or should be improved, or is that quite a different question?
I suppose that's a really big question, isn't it, nationally? I hear a lot about it on radio, I hear a lot about how we aren't managing mental health services well. Because of lack of resource. We know that we've got an election coming up, and we know that there's a lot of talk about, plowing big funds into mental health services. So are there areas? Is it that we don't have the research out there, the supports, the advice that they can give? Is it that we need more money in there? Quite possibly. And I'm not the guy to ask you.
Brilliant. That's fantastic.
What?
That's great.
What's been the biggest change that you've seen as a result of research and events like this?
Events like, I mean, obviously the question about research in general, you can imagine is vast.
Yeah.
But to answer that, for future reference, that's all about creating new jobs, new services, new treatments. When it comes to the likes of today, they're changing how we view mental health, they're changing how we respond to mental health. They're creating for themselves a future. So these are young people, and as they continue through life, they're creating a new way that they will be responded to, how they'll be treated as time goes on. So that's the change they're making. They're coming up, they're stepping up, to the line. They're saying this is what's going on, and they're making a change for their future and for the rest of the generations coming through. They could transform how we view mental health as an issue and how we help and support and treat people.
I guess there's a lot of debate though around young people's involvement and whether it actually changes anything at all, or whether it's just saying, well, we've involved young people and then nothing changes.
But I think that is the difference now with patient and public involvement and engagement as a movement. So we know now the difference that getting people involved makes, because it means we're answering the right questions at the right time.
Yeah.
As a network, as an institution, as a national health institution, we're looking at impact. So we're actually beginning to measure now how the involvement of patient groups like this impacts upon clinical research trials. And we know that the difference clinical trials make to service provision. So we're going to be able to demonstrate quite clearly where youth speak, for example, have changed the shape and course of research that then feeds into day-to-day NHS work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. That's fantastic.
I've been a member of Youth Speak since it began 1.5 years ago. I've joined Youth Speak because it's about youth and mental health. I've got mental health problems, so I thought it would be better to give create my help to the group whenever I can.
My name's Soph. I've been part of Youth Speak since it began, the same as Lewis and a few other members here back in October 2013. Youth Speak's allowed me to be myself and to be who I want to be and not to be anyone else. It's allowed us to explore new options and new ways to tackle stigma against mental health, because that's what I do a lot of around the North East and around nationally. And it's also allowed us to get to make new friends and to meet new people who are also passionate about the same things that I am.
I'm Charlotte, and I've been part of Youth Speak for about 6 months now. And the best bit about Youth Speak is, for me, is to tackle mental health stigma and to try and make a difference, in any way that we can, really.
My name's Emma. I've been part of Youth Speak basically from the beginning. Been in quite a few meetings now, and I think young people are important to research because it's young people that are going to be using the services that are created. So young people are going to be the best people to ask as to what improvements they want made. So it's more likely to be successful. You're not going to have to go through the process again and again.
My name's Kayla, and I've been going to Youth Speak meetings for about 3 months now. And I like going to Youth Speak because I'm able to meet lots of new people, and the activities that we do are really enjoyable, but they're informative as well.
I'm Kurt, and I've been part of Youth Speak since it started. And I think Youth Speak is important because it's fun, engaging, and it's I don't know what to say. It's try to tackle the stigma of mental health, which is really important.
I'm Natalie, and I've been to Youth Speak for about 2 months now. I really liked Youth Speak's aims, which is kind of to actively involve young people, and as we kind of understand mental health issues due to personal or kind of indirect experience, we can then know how to get kind of our peers involved in research as well. So it's good to come together and kind of discuss that.
Thank you. turn your seats around if it's more comfortable to watch the film, and then we'll get
to come from like all different walks of life, and like we all come from different circumstances and different areas even, and we get to like brainstorm ideas and think about ways of doing things like reducing mental health stigma and really important issues, and get to put it all together.
For me, I think the session was really enjoyable because it was really informal, and the activities like drawing and brainstorming are really fun as well, so I can't make sure to go back.
Until about a year ago, I would see typical researchers being tall, hiding behind a clipboard, glasses, pretty old, wearing like turtleneck jumper.
My teacher's research was random. You just look at tiny elements all day, the white coat on.
British student, and they don't listen to young people, and they walk around asking you stupid questions that a 5-year-old could answer.
It can be really boring. Like, just talk gibberish sometimes.
Some things that I think researchers should definitely avoid is using a lot of long words, because
Young people will be bored and won't understand what you're saying.
yeah.
I don't mind the academic paper being extremely hard to read, because that's fine, but maybe having a version of their paper and their research that is accessible, not using long words, not using constant acronyms. The level of commitment and passion from researchers like Helen and Lauren is just that much better, and that makes a much bigger difference than if you just kind of tokenistic visit a group and not really listen to what they're saying.
There's a lot more to being a researcher than there is just by having a degree at university. And I think that in being involved in research, we're kind of getting rid of everything.
It's be who you want to be.
Is it banana? Thank you. Banana? Get your banana out.
Thank you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed learning about.
After 3, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Anybody wants to say something to the camera before they leave, please do. I'll be here for another 2 minutes.
You can tell them they can pick their